Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
What?
Hey, folks, we are back. How we doing out there? Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. A couple more headline stories. We're just going to wrap up, and then we're going to get into some sort of insurance and real estate talk. Of course, we had the attack in Nice, and, born in Tunisia, but he was a resident of Nice. He was a delivery driver. The Islamic State had said that they wanted, they're always calling for people to attack, wherever they may be, and they even encourage people to attack with their vehicles. This guy was not one of their, inside house operators from what they say so far. He was just a guy that decided to take up the call and go out and do this. Now, obviously, there was some planning to it. They think there was the explosives in the truck, and they think that there was a more devious plan than what he did. But thank goodness maybe he didn't get to detonate those explosives. So hard to say if they're putting out disinformation that he was just someone that took up the call, because if you have explosives and those types of things, how are you getting those without help? So, but in any case, another act of terrorism, just grisly attack, running people down, 84 lives lost, and many more injured and hurt. But this guy was taken out at the end, thank goodness. Running people over for about 2 kilometers. Unbelievable. What else do we have going on here? I think that's about it on the headlines. Why don't we roll on into some local and show-specific stuff. Let's talk about insurance and real estate. And by the way, as you know, we've been talking with Richard throughout the show. Richard is over at the Goosehead Insurance Agency, the Richard.tonihka Agency, and website richardtagency.com, richardtagency.com. And by the way, you can always talk to him, 817-286-2002, 817-286-2002. So let's get into some local information. Let's end it on a high note and a happy note. No more doom and gloom. By the way, folks, Richard has helped, my girlfriend with her insurance, better rates, better policies. And, he's doing this for people left, right, and center if you just give him a call and talk to him. So what do we got today, Richard?
What we're talking about today is people that are looking at purchasing an investment property. So if your 401 or all your other investments aren't working out and you're looking to invest in property and rent it to someone, you get what is considered a dwelling policy. And just like a homeowner's policy, there are many different kinds of dwelling policies. You can get a TDP 1, which is a Texas Dwelling Policy 1. It's going to be absolutely the best rate, but it's going to be the best rate for a reason, and we'll get into that in a minute. Then you've got TDP. You've got variances of each one. You can add replacement costs to the TDP 1. Now, with a dwelling policy, I'm just going to say dwelling policy 1 or dwelling policy 3 or dwelling policy 1 plus. But with the different kind of dwelling policies, you're looking at having different things covered. For for all of them, fire, wind, lightning, hail, explosion, vehicles, and riot are covered. Whether it is a DP1 with replacement costs, DP1 plus, and a DP3, a dwelling policy 3 is the best one that you can get, obviously, out of the dwelling policies. DP1, the reason that you have to have replacement costs is because it's an actual cash value or an ACV policy, which is typically referred to. If you ever see an ACV on your homeowner's policy, it is a very bad thing. ACV, actual cash value, means that it is taking depreciation into account. So they are not going to pay you what it costs to replace something. And so it's all about what kind of risk that you're comfortable with.
Right.
But and especially if you're talking about your own personal homeowners, if you have an ACV policy, please call me.
Yeah.
It's terrible, and I hate for people to be in that position, because we all have budgets and we can all only afford what we can afford.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, paying a couple $100 more per year, or $10 more per year to get a replacement cost rather than an actual cash value, is well worth it, because all it takes is one claim, and you see how worth it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you a question. On the actual cash value versus replacement cost, how does that impact on the auto side? Is it can, because I know oftentimes you see mostly cash value.
On an auto side, it is always actual cash value. You can get new car replacement, and I love these commercials from certain companies, Liberty, saying that they're going to give you a new car if you have an accident. Well, they are if you pay more. It's an endorsement that you add to your particular policy, and you can't add it at any time. It has to be a new car.
Okay.
And it's usually good for about 18 months. After that, it goes away. And so it's not for the life of your policy or however long you have your car. It is for a set amount of time, and each carrier is a little bit different. But yes.
So you're never going to get replacement cost on an auto.
No.
Yeah.
It is always, I mean, when they talk about depreciation on your auto, I mean, it's always going to be there on an auto policy. Well, not always. You can add that endorsement if you buy something new, but after the 18 months,
there's a clock on it.
Yes, and it's going down, and yes, it's, but it's not that $30 a month policy either, though.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be the most expensive thing in the world, but yes, I mean, they're going to cut their, I mean, there is a premium added for that endorsement.
Fair enough.
But when you're looking at the dwelling policies, so let's go through a typical dwelling policy. With a DP1, you're not going to get water damage. So if you have a pipe burst in your house, which we've talked about, 80% of your claims are going to be water related.
Right.
So
not smart.
No, but I mean, it's going to be the best price policy. Yeah, it's not going to be the best policy, but it's going to be the best price policy.
Yeah, and investors, like you said, it's up to them to take what kind of risk they want to take.
Now, if you spent $10,000 for your investment property, I mean, it might be worth it to you. One of the things that I look at when we're looking at your rate and what endorsements to add on, I mean, the amount that you paid for your house is a determining factor on what kind of endorsements that you put on it. And that's part of me getting to know you and going through the proposal process is to, what are your risk tolerances? What are you comfortable with? And where do you see this? How long do you plan on having this particular property, and or what kind of history do you have with this particular property? Because a lot of that plays a part in it.
Yeah, and it's all about your return. Maybe if it's a tight property and you have limited return, maybe it's a you might want the bare necessities policy. But if you've got, I mean, most everybody should be getting good return on properties they've had for a while at this point. I mean, the rent demand is so high, and the rent is so high right now. They should be doing pretty well, so should be able to cover themselves all right.
Well, I've got some customers, and one that I think of off the top of my head, they've got multiple properties. All of them, they've never spent more than $20,000 on. So they don't have very many endorsements on their properties at all.
Right.
All they really wanted was replacement costs. So if something happens to where they have a total loss, they get the total amount that they're insured for. If they have a water claim in their house, that's out of pocket for them. But that's the risk that they're willing to take.
Yeah, and it's their strategy, and everybody's different.
Yes. And with a DP1, you're also looking at vandalism and malicious mischief. So if your house is vacant before your tenants move in and they come in and spray paint and just destroy the place, with a DP1, you're not covered. With a DP3, you are covered. Or a DP1 plus, you're covered. But simply adding on the replacement cost to a DP1 still doesn't make you covered.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people may think that, oh, I've got a dwelling policy with replacement costs, or DP1 with replacement costs. That's going to do what I need it to do. Well, no, it's not.
Only for catastrophic, basically.
Yes. And those people, and I have people that look at it as, I only want my insurance for a total loss. Anything else, I don't care. And that's them.
Mm-hmm.
You can add additional perils to a DP1 that will cover you for up to 95% of anything that's going to happen. So water, sudden and accidental would be covered with a DP1 plus. But if you're going with a dwelling policy 1 with additional perils, you might as well just make that transition to dwelling policy 1 plus, because it's giving you everything, including replacement costs. A dwelling policy with additional perils may not give you replacement costs, where with a DP1 plus, it is automatically included.
Okay.
So is vandalism and malicious mischief, and but I mean, the absolute best one of them all is the DP3. It gives you everything: the weight of ice and snow, falling trees. Vandalism and malicious mischief is also known as VMM. It also covers you for foundation, without an endorsement with certain carriers.
Okay. Well, folks, look, it's if you're an investor out there, you own properties, if you're a property manager and maybe you're looking out for your clients, and you need to get them with the right person. I would highly recommend giving Richard a call. He's going to save. Look, investors, we're always looking for ways to save money, but do the right things and cover our properties in the right way. Highly recommend giving Richard a call. He can take care of all of your investment properties, duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, multiple single units, apartments, etc. Give him a shout. richardtagency.com is the website. richardtagency.com is the website. His phone number direct, 817-286-2002, 817-286-2002. It's Richard Tonihka of the Goosehead Insurance Agency right here in DFW, right in Arlington. Give him a call for all of your insurance needs. Folks, hey, inside real estate, sports, entertainment, politics, everything and everything. Back here next Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. See you then.
Folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here with Inside Real Estate Sports Entertainment on 570 AM KLIF. Did you know that virtually all of us will experience a fall in the bathtub at some point in our life? Well, statistically, it's true, and as we get older, a fall in the bathtub can spell disaster, as we just can't recover the same as we did in our younger years. Don't let something as silly and preventable as a bathtub fall put an end to all your special plans you have lined up for your golden years. Invest in a Hydrojet walk-in bathtub. Made in the USA and with the lowest step in the industry, Hydrojet walk-in tubs has your best interest at heart. With no commission sales staff or huge warehouse overhead, they build and sell direct to you, saving you thousands of dollars over their competitors. Call Randy, my friend and owner of Hydrojet Walk-In Tubs at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com. You'll be able to speak with Randy directly, and make sure to mention you heard about it on the radio. And for you veterans out there, there's a grant available for you to cover the majority of the cost of a walk-in tub, making it darn near free. Call Randy at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com today.
The preceding program was furnished by K1 International LLC and is responsible for its content.